This afternoon, COVID alert. The Sydney cluster is spreading. Masks mandatory once again. Lockdown is on the cards if the situation continues to worsen. A flight attendant tests positive in Brisbane. She found out while at dinner in the CBD. Plus, a massive drug bust in Melbourne. Millions of dollars worth of cocaine seized. And high-speed smash, a truck and caravan collide on a Queensland highway.
This is 7 News.
Good afternoon. Sydney has suffered a fresh COVID surge. 2 new cases have been detected overnight, with the Bondi cluster spreading south. It sparked fresh warnings and a message from the Premier. A testing blitz is needed to avoid the prospect of a lockdown. Chris Marr has the story.
Well, the Salvation stores here at Tempe, one of the latest on the venue alert list as Sydney's eastern suburbs COVID cluster grows to 9 cases. The latest, confirmed this morning, is a man in his 50s from the Sutherland area who works at these facilities. Then a woman in her 50s, also from Sutherland, was confirmed last night. There are alerts at gyms in the CBD after a woman in her 30s and her partner, who live in the city, were confirmed positive. The couple also visited the Illawarra region. Now, the highly contagious Delta variant linked to a limousine driver who visited the Bondi Junction shopping centre. It's meant new restrictions in place from this afternoon until midnight Wednesday. Mandatory mask wearing in all indoor venues in 7 Sydney Council areas: Randwick, Bayside, Canada Bay, Inner West, Sydney City, Waverley and Wallara. The Premier not ruling out the possibility of extending the restrictions if things continue to worsen.
At this stage, we did not want to make the decision to have compulsory indoor mask wearing across all of Greater Sydney, but if the situation changes overnight, that is an option that we will have to consider. Compulsory
mask wearing on public transport has been extended to Greater Sydney, Blue Mountains, Wollongong and Shell Harbour. Now, 24,000 tests have been completed. Health officials say that's not enough. They want the figure up around 40,000 today. And the Premier once again is appealing for people to get vaccinated. She says that the negative debate about the AstraZeneca vaccine right now is very unhelpful as this COVID cluster grows.
Well, Brisbane is on high alert as we go to air. An international flight attendant was told she had COVID halfway through a dinner in the city's south. She was rushed to hospital, suspected to have the highly contagious Delta variant. Georgie Chumley reports.
She was released from hotel quarantine yesterday morning, and by 8 p.m. last night, the international flight attendant was on her way to hospital with COVID. A Portuguese national spending an evening in Brisbane with friends while unknowingly infectious. The venue of most concern, shopping outlet DFO, between 4 and 4:30. She then went to Brisbane City between 5 and 6 p.m. and restaurant Brisbane Portuguese Family Centre from 7 to 7:50, where she was informed she was positive.
I'm treating this case as if she does have the Delta variant because we know that only fleeting contact can lead to transmission.
The woman in her 30s spent 14 days in hotel quarantine after she came into contact with a positive passenger on a flight 2 weeks ago. She was released yesterday morning and had a routine weekly test done when she left quarantine, mandatory for all international flight crew. Despite testing negative on day 0, 5 and 12 of quarantine, last night she returned a positive result.
So I require all cabin crew to be tested routinely every 7 days. So this was just a routine test that happened to fall on day 14 and she tested positive.
It comes as Queensland moves towards lifting all restrictions on gatherings at home and outdoors and increases venue capacity from 1 person per 2 square metres to 3 people per 4 square metres and reintroducing buffets from Friday. The increased freedoms coincide with Queenslanders having to check in at more venues, including supermarkets and shopping centres.
Victoria has recorded no new cases of locally acquired coronavirus in the past 24 hours. That's despite 19,500 tests. However, 2 return travellers have returned positive results after leaving hotel quarantine. It's under investigation, but health officials strongly suspect it's a false positive triggered by traces of the virus from an earlier infection. A 2-year-old boy is one of 4 people lucky to be alive after a drive-by shooting in Sydney's West. It's the second attack of its kind in just 2 days, but police don't believe it's gang-related. Isabel Mullen has more.
Well, Katrina, a major manhunt is underway after a drive-by shooting in Sydney's West. This house was shot at a number of times as a young family hid inside. This is the getaway car, a white hatchback set alight after the shooting, burning just over a kilometre away on a small suburban street. The fire too big to put out.
Get in the house! Get in the house!
Get in the house!
Get in the house!
You hear the tyres were popping, and every time they pop, the kids will have a little scream.
Neighbours were scared for their own safety, worried the fire would spread after a tree caught alight.
It was really big and the sounds like it was bombs.
Police say this was a targeted attack. It's the second drive-by shooting in Sydney in just a few days. But at this stage, police don't believe it is gang-related.
Evidence is not linking those two at this stage. However, we are following those lines of inquiry.
A 2-year-old boy was one of 4 people inside the Regent's Park house at the time of the shooting. A dozen bullet holes found in the house and a car parked on the front lawn. Katrina, police say it's lucky no one was seriously injured at this stage. No arrests have been made.
Police have smashed an international drug ring, seizing $40 million worth of cocaine. Operation Ironside, the police sting which netted dealers, smugglers and crime bosses, is still delivering results weeks later. Cassie Zervos has more.
More than 200 Australians have been charged as part of Operation Ironside, and these are just the latest. Police claim they've smashed a crime syndicate, with the arrests of 4 men in Melbourne and an alleged ringleader in Sydney. They're accused of trying to smuggle more than 160 kilograms of cocaine from Hong Kong to Melbourne. It's alleged they were communicating via what they thought was an encrypted app, but in fact, police were reading every message and were waiting when the shipment arrived. Inside was cocaine hidden in air filters with a street value of $40 million. Border Force says the impact would have been devastating had the drug hit the streets. The men charged will face court in September.
Back to Queensland now, where a woman has been found dead after her boat sank while on a fishing trip. She was with her husband off Brisbane when they got into trouble. It sparked a frantic search which came to a grim end just a few hours ago. Ned Bohm has more.
A fishing trip has ended in tragedy today, with the body of a 48-year-old woman discovered following an extensive search and rescue operation. The 54 and 48-year-old husband and wife from Kangaroo Point were fishing off the north shore of Mud Island when their boat started taking water around 7 p.m. last night.
And large waves broken over the back and capsized the vessel, and they've both gone into the water from that.
A 3-second SOS notified family, who then called police. 13 vessels and 7 aircraft scoured the sea and sky off the coast today. Shortly before 10 a.m, the husband was found clinging to the hull of the dinghy between Mud and Moreton Island. He was transported to the PA hospital suffering hypothermia.
At some point during the night, the wife's become tired and fatigued and has become separated from her husband.
Sadly, the woman's body was found just before 12:30 today.
Not bringing someone home to a family, really, it does affect you, and it does affect our team, that's for sure.
It's believed the pair weren't wearing life jackets at the time. A report will now be prepared for the coroner.
Defence Force personnel have arrived in Melbourne's Dandenong Ranges to help with storm recovery efforts. Their first priority is delivering generators to people who face several more weeks without power. Paul Dowsley has more.
These are like little blocks of gold for the residents of Melbourne's Dandenong Ranges, because 10 days after these massive storms lashed this area and trees smashed through about 120 houses, About 4,000 houses and business that remain intact are still without power. So the Australian Defence Force is moving in with more than 100 troops to distribute these to residents who haven't had power for 10 days.
Be very careful when you're pouring the oil into the funnel and into the oil reservoir, very slowly.
As work continues to restore power today, the generators were distributed to the first residents.
It means we can come home. I mean, we're all working from home, obviously, with COVID, so being able to come home and actually do work, get some internet access, have a hot shower, cook some hot meals.
And days after the state government announced a $1,680 per week payment for badly affected households, businesses without power are now being offered financial support too by the state and federal governments. So about 1,200 businesses can receive $2,500 a week to keep trading or offset costs. Defence Force personnel won't just help distribute these. Another big job for them is to help the effort to clear trees that have fallen across roads and onto properties, and even 10 days on, that still remains an issue.
Still to come in 7 News, the family of a Sydney gangster wants rules eased so they can go to his funeral. But police fear loved ones of Bilal Hamzi will use the opportunity to plan a revenge attack. And up in smoke, a fireworks factory catches alight. That's next.
He sung and danced his way into Australian hearts.
What's your name?
Johnny Ruffo. I'm a concreter.
Everything came crashing down. A tumour the size of my fist.
His moment of hope.
This is it. Johnny finds out if his treatment is working.
A special 7 News Spotlight. Tonight at 7 on 7.
Let me be witty, let me be so ditty in every state and city. How about let you do a double take? I don't need your money, I don't need your credit. I'm a superwoman, I let you watch me fade.
When the slip and slide doesn't have quite enough slip. Or slide.
Okay.
It's time for Tylenol.
I'm good. I don't know what happened there, eh?
Get covered for less than you reckon with Uber. Before life hits, you get 6 weeks free when you join on eligible products. Hurry! Search Cooper, 6 weeks free.
At Harvey Norman, save $600 on the LG 65-inch Cinema C1 Series 4K OLED TV. JBL soundbar now $625, save $170. Plus, bonus gift card up to $1,000 when you buy on interest-free. On now.
For tough pain relief, my go-to is Panadol Extra. Because if I don't, with my migraine headaches, I'm kind of useless in the kitchen. It's good to know you can still help out the people who need you. Together, let's rethink care.
Australia, meet your new McCafe blend. Roasted and blended in Melbourne. Smoother, richer, and crafted for Aussies who love great coffee. The new McCafe blend. Now that's coffee fit for an Aussie.
A lawyer for the Hamzi Sydney crime family is seeking to lift restrictions on his infamous clients so they can attend a funeral. Bilal Hamzi was gunned down in the city last week after a contract had been taken out on his life. A serious crime prevention order prohibits other family members from seeing each other, which means they can't congregate at the 34-year-old's funeral.
What we have done is made an application to remove those conditions for a certain period of time, just during the grieving moments.
The application will be heard in the Supreme Court ahead of Hamzi's funeral next Thursday. Iran's voters have elected a new president, though many regard the outcome as suspect because moderates were largely stopped from running at all. As US correspondent Tim Lester reports, the outcome is of special importance to the Biden administration in Washington.
For Iran, a change of leadership at a critical time. The country has elected a new, more conservative president, just as the United States tries to win back the deal that limits Tehran's nuclear program. Iranians turn out to applaud the election result.
I'm very happy, says a supporter. Hope has formed in my heart again.
In fact, fewer than half the 60 million eligible Iranians voted, and the number of informal votes outpolled all but the winner. Hardliner Ebrahim Raisi won more than 5 times the vote of his nearest rival. but only after the establishment blocked his strongest competition from running at all. The 60-year-old takes over from the more moderate current president, Hassan Rouhani. I'd like to offer my gratitude to the very dear, honourable and vigilant people, Raisi says. Human rights groups have long accused him of crimes against humanity in the killing of political prisoners more than 30 years ago. Ebrahim Raisi is seen as a supporter of renegotiating the deal US President Donald Trump tore up 3 years ago. The deal relaxed crippling sanctions on Tehran in exchange for limits on the country's nuclear program. Others, though, believe the US will now want to seal the deal with President Rouhani in the 6 weeks left before the more hardline President Raisi takes office.
Tornadoes have ripped across America, hammering the nation's southeast. A twister left this trail of destruction in Alabama. Homes wiped out, residents emerging to find everything they once had gone. Another storm lashed Bruton. Homes were flattened there too, thanks to Tropical Storm Claudette, which made landfall overnight. We have some explosive pictures to show you now. This is what happens when a fire breaks out inside a fireworks factory. Hundreds of explosions rang out across the Russian capital, Moscow, as the stockpile quickly erupted. Firefighters tried tackling it from the ground but had to call in aerial reinforcements to hit the blaze from above. Now, Mel McLaughlin is here with sport. And Mel, Toby Green is in trouble once again.
Yes, hello to you, Katrina. He just can't seem to avoid it, can he? Find out what Toby did next. But for every bad incident, there are far more good ones, as the Giants star put on a goal-kicking show in a big win for GWS. And a 5-try comeback by Parramatta blows away the Bulldogs.
Advanced Genifique with 7 pre- and probiotic fractions activate your skin's strength. The microbiome. Skin recovers faster, is stronger and visibly younger. Our #1 serum. Shop online now at Lancome.
When you choose Allianz Home Insurance, you could join others who received up to 30% no-claim bonus depending on your claims history. Allianz, behind you for what's ahead.
Check out Catch, where everyday Aussies get great deals on fashion essentials, like Sarah Jessica's parka, Uma's thermals, Kanye's vest, and Al's Perichinos. For all the brands they love, everyday Aussies check out Catch.
At Spotlight, save more at our Spot Take sale with 50% off shaggy rugs and mats. VIPs take a further 20% off when you purchase the entire vault of fabric. VIPs save 40% off all overlockers. So roll it, cut it and sew it for less. Sale on now. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
What's your shampoo made of? New Garnier Fructis hair food shampoos and conditioners from 96% natural origin. Yes, vegan. No silicone. Yes, recyclable. Nourishing, smoothing, hydrating and volumizing by Garnier. Naturally.
Welcome back. Pressure is mounting on Carlton, who have slumped to 4 and 9 with an external review currently being conducted. Last night, GWS sunk the Blues by 36 points as Toby Green starred with 4 goals, including this monster 67-metre bomb.
It's long. Yes. Toby Green, take a bow.
He's a great leader of our footy club, and you know he's letting his footy do the talking, but equally marshalling up the troops.
But he's set to come under scrutiny for this off-the-ball strike to Nick Newman. Parramatta have launched a second-half comeback to beat the Bulldogs 36-10. The Dogs led 10-6 at the break but failed to reply to the Eels' 5 second-half tries. Rookie Sean Russell bagging 2 tries on debut.
Gutterson's going to give Russell a double!
Last night was a horror show for the Tigers, thrashed 66-16 by the Storm. Tigers coach Michael Maguire refused to address his team at halftime. Nelson Asofa Solomona faces a 2-week ban for this high shot. Dragon Michaeli Ravalawa could also do time for a shoulder charge. Tyrell Sloan scored on debut in the 22-20 win over Canberra, delighting a fan club led by his grandma. Beautiful. Supercars Championship leader Shane Van Gisbergen is back at his dominant best. Van Gisbergen overcame a rear wheel issue to easily take race 2 in Darwin. Drivers were finding respite anywhere as the temperatures soared on the Hidden Valley track, but it didn't help anyone stop the Kiwi from doubling up, taking out race 3, his 8th win of the year.
SVG gets it done in the tropics.
There was plenty of drama in the Superbikes race. Matt Walters somehow walking away from this high-speed crash. Ollie Bayliss, the teenage son of 3-time Superbikes world champ Troy, took out his first Superbikes win. Sydney FC are on the brink of A-League history. The Sky Blues are into their 3rd straight grand final after beating Adelaide United 2-1 last night. They now have the chance to become the first team to win 3 straight premierships.
Beautiful, brilliant goal from Sydney FC. It's Bobo again, a true goal scorer.
Sydney will face the winner of Melbourne City and Macarthur FC. Overseas, Cristiano Ronaldo opened the scoring for Portugal against Germany at the European Championships. But it was a horror night for the Portuguese, with Germany romping to a 4-2 win.
And it's number 4, and Gosens knocks it home, and the champions are being thumped.
Spain missed a penalty in a shock 1-1 draw with Poland, and Hungary took a surprise lead over world champions France in Budapest, with an unsuspecting sideline reporter caught up in the celebrations. They drew 1-1. Rory McIlroy and defending champion Bryson DeChambeau have made charges to set up an epic final round at golf's US Open. 2 shots off the pace, McIlroy is honing in on his first major in 7 years.
Tremendous touch by McIlroy.
Also 2 shots off the lead, big-hitting DeChambeau had the Torrey Pines Squirrels running for cover. Louis Oosthuizen drained this 15-metre putt at the last to be the co-leader at 5 under with Mackenzie Hughes and Russell Henley. Adam Scott, the best-placed Aussie, 5 shots back. Our men's rugby 7 squad have had their first training session in Townsville in preparation for their final tournament before Tokyo.
And now it's, you know, sharpening the axe and really sort of putting the final bits to it.
Dual Olympic medalist Jess Fox picked up her 2nd Canoe Slalom World Cup gold medal in 2 weeks, winning the K1 event in Germany. Sally Fitzgibbons is the only Aussie woman to reach day 3 at the Surf Ranch Pro in California. Australian Ethan Ewing will join Owen Wright on finals day for the men. Katrina, things shaping really well with not long to go before Tokyo now.
Yep, counting down.
Yep.
Thanks so much, Mel. Well, still to come in 7 News, we'll take a look at tomorrow's weather forecast right around the country.
You remember I'm picking Bex up from school, right?
The JCR's due Friday, so...
Which font should we use?
Are you going to video chat this weekend? Your dad and I'd love to see the kid.
He's in...
So can we go outside?
Screen share at the...
We could do this place after.
I know, it's funny, isn't it?
Then I'll shoot back around.
We know you've always worked hard for your money. In these uncertain economic times, who do you trust to protect your wealth? Invest with La Trobe Financial, Australia's multi-award winning wealth manager and leading credit specialist. Trusted by Australians for more than 60 years.
When frequent heartburn kept waking me up at night, enough was enough. So I tried Nexium 24-hour.
Unlike antacids that often require multiple doses per day, Nexium 24-hour is better. Just 1 tablet a day can provide 24-hour protection. Live life less interrupted.
At Bunnings, we'll know that a kitchen is more than just a place to cook. It can be a classroom, you can have your kids at your bench, an art gallery for your kids' artwork, so your kitchen needs to be designed to fit your life. Because Bunnings kitchens are made for real life. Shop at Bunnings wherever you are, whenever you want.
The good guys know Dyson air purifiers, like the Dyson Purifier Hot and Cool, which captures even the smallest particles of dust and allergens to help you breathe easier, which means what goes into the machine stays inside.
And remember, you'll pay less every day at The Good Guys.
Get your Woolies worth this winter with great weekly specials like Campbell's Real Stock 1 litre, now $2 each. That's half price.
That's why I pick Woolies.
An internet debate is raging thanks to this next video. A truck driver has filmed the moment a man towing a caravan merged into his lane on the Bruce Highway in Queensland.
To be here like everyone else. My source. Behind Lord Manthar, Lady Husky. I'm overtaking you!
The left lane was ending, meaning the ute driver had to merge, though the internet is convinced the truck driver should have been allowed to pass the slower vehicle. Let's check the weather around the country now. Sunny and 23 degrees in Brisbane, 18 and showers in Sydney, Canberra 14 and partly cloudy too in Melbourne, 15 the top there. Expect clouds and a chilly top of 12 in Hobart, 16 and fine in Adelaide, Perth 14 and showers and a warm 32 and sunny in Darwin. And that's 7 News for now. Our next bulletin is 7 News at 6. I'm Katrina Blowers. Thanks so much for your company and have a good night.